Hello, 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 hello. What's going on, everybody? We'll wait for some people to filter in. Doing it a bit earlier here, given that it is a Sunday. Figure I can knock it out here quickly and let everyone be on with their evening, including myself. I had a friend of mine this weekend. He had he had called me on Saturday, and I work with him, and he does some of my tile work. And he called me on Saturday. He said, "Wow, you sound a lot more chipper than the Monday to Friday that I was talking to you." And he said, "Maybe that's because you don't have any trades going on over the weekend." I said, "Oh, don't worry. I still gamble. I play sports bets on the weekend, so there's plenty of time to be miserable on Saturday and Sunday too." Anybody watch the UFC fights on Saturday night, last night? Hamzat Chimaev, Dricus du Plessis. It was a fairly boring fight, but it was pretty entertaining to see somebody of that skill set and high of a caliber be able to just dominate their opponent. Was pretty impressive. A lot of people didn't like it because it wasn't the fist fights, but ground game is another way of fighting. Anyways, so first link down in the description, I threw down my BSLK trade from Friday. I hopped on the Investors Underground broadcast on Friday morning. If any of you are in Investors Underground, go to heard myself and Judah talking about this one. I had brought it up on Thursday evening. Was not super gung-ho about it going into it the next day. But then we got this little pop here that kind of showed some interest into 8 a.m. off the gap down. And once I got this kind of action right here, we got the morning drive, couple little wicks, 3-minute pullback, little flag here. I bought some on this candle, added through highs, risking versus low a day. I had fat fingered a sell into the halt. Oh, my nose is itchy. I fat fingered a sell into the halt. I was entering with my hotkeys just because it was moving so fast, and I just kept hitting it, trying to fill whatever I could. And I misclicked on one of my sells instead of my buy hotkeys. So I sold about a quarter into the halt. Locked a bunch, I believe, into the top. Let me see here. Yeah, this red candle. Locked a bunch here as we were halting down, or looking to halt down. And then right around here, I rebought and risked versus the gap, kind of like the halt level. Bought. I'm just looking at the other chart here. Wonder if I can just pull this up and then I don't have to go through it. I put the link down below, but I might as well just pull it up on here. Twitter right here. So that's the trade. It's over on Investors Underground there. But yeah, had bought right through there, fat fingered into the halt, sold a bunch up here, still kept a core position, re-added around that core, moving risk towards like this kind of halt gap area. Sold, got a bit freaked out here and took off all of my position. It made a new high and then immediately slammed down, was breaking under VWAP, and I was, for lack of a better term, afraid of giving back all the P&L from those couple good trades. So I took it off. It immediately soaked up, so I put back that whole position right back on and risked versus that low. Sold into the pop, bought the dip, sold the pop, bought the dip, and then locked up into that sped up price action there. And if I flip back to this one, I was looking for 13s, and that was the goal on broadcast, was because of the day one consolidation. 13 was that goal. So if you want to go back and watch the broadcast, but that was the trade plans there, and some great call-outs in the room with Judah was all over it, and I was just kind of trading that plan that we had chit-chatted about. So that was the only trade there from Friday. Jobby, I stopped out of that swing in pre-market. So frustrating. I don't think I've ever been in this situation as far as I've been swing trading. But risk was versus this 1850 level. And I had leaned on it here in 1780s, risking versus 1850s, 70 cents a share, and then was looking to add through 16s. And in pre-market, a lot of times we get pops back up into resistance, but I'm dealing with a lot more small caps when I'm swing short. And you don't typically get this kind of a reaction on news that comes out in a mid to large cap. So it was a bit of unprecedented territory for me, where when I am swing short these larger cap names, you don't typically get that kind of a reaction off of a press release. And then when you do get that reaction, typically that's on a small cap, and they just pop and fail right back. So when we did get that reaction, it was a bit strange to me, and then we started to hold dips above these 1850s where I was looking to cover. So I ended up covering up here into the 19s and took a full-size loss on what I was up fairly decently on. So that was a bit frustrating. And then I thought, if it's going to continue to hold up, maybe it's going to break out, maybe it'll stuff again, and I get a reattempt at that idea. And nope. As soon as the market opened, this thing did not uptick and faded all the way back down, which was just icing on the cake for my frustration on that cover. So I started shorting some pops here, and the range, it's mostly sideways. After that first 7 minutes of straight panic down $2 a share, it was fairly sideways, and I was shorting into these pops in the 1720s and 1705, 1710s. Like, I just wasn't getting anywhere, so I covered it, and we got this little grind back, and then right around here I had put some on into the close. It's knocking on that door of that 1630s. I think that PR could have been the last hurrah, and now we've just got a steady sell side all day that bagged a bunch of longs again from that breakout attempt. Oh yeah, I did trade ATNF. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. I did trade ATNF. I took a loss on that one in the morning. I had bought right here. So we got this pullback. I bought right here through the opening range highs, risk versus low a day, risking about 20 cents. We got a push, a big flush. I sold it all into this lower high. Took off some here in the 690s, the rest into those lower highs. This kind of action is just not what I'm looking for, getting hard crack lower highs when I'm looking for a trend to build. So I took a small profit on that trade. And then as it started to hold VWAP here, I had bought some right in here and then stopped out of that position and basically gave back that little small win and took it off under 680s. So it was a very small loss, probably like less than a fifth of an R. But yeah, really nice comeback into the end of the day. We did not close green, so I would still put it on watch list going into tomorrow. I think that there is still plenty of meat on the bone. There's definitely some buyers that came in there, so ideally, same kind of thing. Week opens, opening range highs, would give it one more attempt tomorrow, and first time going green would be that trigger. So we will see if it can bounce. But yeah, I did take a super small loss on it, locked in a small gain, and then gave it all back on that little reattempt. So yeah, that was Jobby, BSLK, ATNF. And then going into watches. X4 never offered that entry through the T+1. Still going to keep it on watch with price alerts just in case 320s comes. Navini, still swinging that one. Hasn't quite stopped me out yet. Jobby, swinging that one. Interested in that breakdown. Tesla, I don't have the moving averages on this chart, but the 10 and 20 are sitting right in here. And it's looking like it wants to head higher, where it broke through this prior top, flagging right above it. MSTR, I'm putting this one back on radar with the recent crypto strength in Ethereum and Bitcoin, and MSTR is just not participating in it. And in fact, we've got this big 358 base that if it loses it, I think it definitely could get hit. You can see, like, zooming in here on a weekly, that 350s. Doesn't look too strong, especially with the rest of the sector strong. I think it should have popped by now. And same kind of setup as Jobby, in my opinion, where you get that left shoulder, little clear out, bags a bunch of longs, right shoulder, and now it's knocking on that neckline. And Jobby doing the same thing. Left, little breakout, bags some people, right shoulder, and looking for that neckline breakdown. Fossil, this one here, hit scan, had some earnings back here on like August 13th or something. And really nice move to the upside. Typically, I'm not all for shorting earnings winners, but I will just keep it on watch in case this gets a bit out of hand. If it goes, I wouldn't be interested in it just yet, but if this goes for another day or two to like 4+, then on increasing volume, if it keeps getting bigger, then I think I'd look for that little mean revert short trade. But as of right now, just put it on radar just because it hit scan and the daily looked good. EQ, putting this one back on watch. No overhead resistance. Big little transitional day here. Comes back, consolidating into those 120s. Tightens up and looks like it wants to get going. So I'll keep this one on watch through these 120s for a possible breakout trade. That volume profile here at like $1. So as long as it doesn't fail back below at $1, looks like trend is still intact. CoreWeave sitting on 100. BTAI, BSLK, ATNF. I'd look to trade that one tomorrow, ideally on first time going green, and then a pop back into this volume profile spot. Might as well just throw a line there. But week opens into like 680, 690. Something like this area, 690-ish, was this day's lows, this day's resistance that became support. Flushes versus 690s, opening range break, red to green move. And I think it could pop. Would give it one more attempt. Oklo or SMR gave up that trend, continuing on lows. NNE, big top wick there on Friday. Might break that on Monday. 34 would be that trigger. Oklo, not quite as clean, but this like 70-ish level. And then the other sector that I have on watch is this solar sector. It had a lot of volume and strength in it on Friday. So yeah, a bunch of volume coming into the sector. The Treasury in the states had tightened their tax credit rules on clean energy and stuff, and that brought some attention into the sector, some volume, steady highs all throughout the day. For solar being one that was tightening, and then volume coming right through those recent highs. Obviously, I'm not on desk late in the day when this thing started to move. So we'll see possible like weak opens. Would have to be risking wide to like prior day's lows. Basically on all these things. Ari. Not quite a breakout yet. Run did breakout there. Same kind of thing. Weak opens, but would have to be risking so wide. Sedge, same kind of thing. Would have to be risking so wide. So maybe they set up again something like Hood, where like if you miss if you miss this day, then maybe it consolidates and you get to play the re-breakout. Something like that would be ideal on these for me, not for the people that are already long those from Friday. But for me, selfishly, if they can tighten up a little bit and give me a better risk level to use. For solar, looks really good. But definitely worth keeping that sector on watch. No positions just yet. Woke up late, missed the first green day on VSLK. Only good long setup the past week besides HGraph. Yeah, I didn't trade that HGraph breakout. Like I had it on radar just because a few friends were trading it. But I, like I've said before, I don't have the permissions on Centerpoint to trade OTCs. They just don't let me. So I have to take out my phone to trade it. And when I'm trading other stuff and focused on my computer and whatnot, then my attention's just not on my phone trying to trade a random OTC stock. Unless if that's the only thing I have to trade, then sure. But yeah, did end up working out pretty well though. I think I like First Solar the best if I had to pick a vehicle. Main watch is tomorrow. I like ATNF. I definitely keep that one as a main watch. EQ, I'd keep that one as a watch. That needs some volume in it. It's just 5 million down from 100, 200 million. Would definitely need some volume to have it of interest. Fossil, need that one to keep running. Jobby adds through 1630s for sure. That broke right there. I was shorting all in here. If I just kept the bigger picture idea, I would be up nicely into close. It just wasn't getting anywhere, but hindsight, obviously, those 1620s were great entries. So I'd look to add to Jobby some more. Master, I'd keep that one on watch. Again, would like some sideways. If it were to bounce sideways and then roll over, would be nice. So yeah, probably ATNF, probably the main like small cap watch, I'd say. The other small caps, I'm kind of waiting for them to set up. EQ needs volume, then I could join. Fossil needs to extend a bit further, then I could look for a pullback. Navini needs to bounce and break through 80 for me to join. X4 needs volume to come back in for me to join. Tesla, don't hate the idea. Dips versus like these 320s. That was like the breakout day low. Does have a history of pretty decent moves. And this flag broke out. If you zoom out to like a weekly or something, looks okay. So don't hate that one for a bigger picture. Jobby and Master, daily filled fall through ideas. And then obviously the solar sector. So, see where we're gapping. Bunch of stuff I can't really make plans for. Like when we had that PPI report came out on the SPY the other day. It basically tanked everything into the market open. And you can't predict that. Kind of like when I was on Sunday Scan last week and I was looking for the failed follow through on ATNF because it broke right here. So I was looking for it to push back up into it and roll over. That setup looked fine for a quiet fader. It just hadn't got going. But you can't predict Peter Thiel news coming out. So there's just certain things where you can plan as much as you want before the market open, but until you get some more information, there's nothing you can really do. So see where we're gapping, and then make some plans there in the pre-market tomorrow. So I think that's all I got to really chit-chat about. So I will wrap it up there. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And I will see you guys in IU tomorrow.